Hello and welcome everyone, one and all, to Donington International. Yes, welcome back to the Formula 3 British Championship, where we are here for the final round of this series. 6 have already surpassed, or 5 have already gone by, and now it is time for the deciding round to take place here. And what a beautiful sunny day we've got here in the United Kingdom. Not so much for the real United Kingdom, it's rather cold and unpleasant at the moment, but luckily this is our little corner of the world where we can all escape to in order to enjoy this racing fun. So before we get down and onto the circuit, then we'll have a quick little peek at the standings to see what kind of positions are up for grabs in the last opportunity for the teams to do so. So looking into the season standings, then it is still F1 Bros Racing with Lucas Müller that still leads the way with 113 points, followed by Daniel Vidamari for Team RSI in the 23 with 100 points. That's a 13-point gap. So not impossible for them to make up that take victory here, but of course something really bad would have to happen to Lucas. Matthew Clip comes home in third with 94 points, and then we have David Coloxy in Fancy Esports in the in fourth place with 72 points. Then Daniel Ersling in the other F1 Bros Racing car in the P5 with 56 points, and behind is Turkka Hakkinen for PMK Sim Racing in P6 with 50 points. Going into the last of the top 10, then we've got Valtteri for PMK Sim Racing again with 47 points. We've got Joe Watts in P8 with 40 points. Then Daniel Sontag with 36 points in P9. And then rounding out the top 10 is Alicia Filito for Team RSI with 25 points. So a lot of opportunities available here at Donington. A lot of up and down going to happen, I'm sure, as people vie for those last remaining opportunities. But for now, let's go down into the qualifying session where we can see who is doing the best so far before we go into the race session. I can tell you it is Lucas Müller who, he's off track at the moment, but he is currently the best man out on the circuit. 1 minute 2.083 on the board. That is your fastest time available here for this afternoon. And then following close behind is Matthew Clip as well with a 1:02.352. Lucas Müller going straight back out there to try and get even quicker to secure that pole position. Of course, 10 minutes still remaining here before we go into the race session itself. And while you're waiting for these guys to go out and about, don't forget to like and subscribe to the stream. Helps us out, and of course shows your support for what has been an absolutely epic Formula 3 British Championship Series this winter. Going down the rest of the order, though, we've got Daniel Ersling in third place for the 28. Oh, he's just been demoted by Matthew Clip, 1:02.300. That's just 2/10 off our pole sitting time. And David Coloxy as well. He's moved up into second. That is a 1:02.095. That is 1/100th of a second between the two front-running guys there. So extremely close qualifying session so far here. Turk Hakkinen rounds out the top 5 in the 17 PMK sim racing machine. That is a 1:02.471 on the board for you. He's just a few hundredths off, claiming that P4 position from Daniel Ersling. Danny Vidamari in P6 for the 23. That is a 1:02.5. So just going all the way down towards P10. Everyone is within 1 second of one another in the qualifying phase. Really good stuff. So Lucas Müller now on a flying lap, coming down the hill towards the old hairpin. Of course, we'll name some of the circuit corners as best we can as the race progresses. Get you familiar with the Donington International Circuit for those of you that have not been here. David Coloxy, goes fastest, 1:01.853. So we're going into the 1:01s now. Can Lucas Müller respond in any way, shape or form? Just coming up to Coppice now. Very low grip available, needs a perfect run on the way down towards the S's. Over the crest of the hill. Doesn't seem to bother these cars too much with the amount of downforce that they have from the front splitters. Oh, and he's running a bit wide onto the grass. That's not going to help his time, but is it enough to claim pole position once again? Lucas Müller across the line. And it's not a new fastest lap. It is a 1:026. So those tyres are still trying to warm up, it seems. Let's go down the order further. Daniel Sontag in P9, 1:02.671. Things moving around up and down the order. Valtteri Karvalainen in 1:02.954. That is your P10 position on the grid so far. And you've got Ibrahim Khan. He's moved up into P4. So his first lap of this session, 1:02.236. So that is extremely quick here between these cars. Donington decided definitely coming up here, ladies and gents. Lucas Müller coming into the final corner now over the start-finish line. Is it going to be enough to secure pole position? No, but retains his second place. Lucas Müller now 1:01.895. Matthew Clip temporarily went into the 1:01s and took that second place away. He's on 1:01.899. So, ladies and gents, separating the top 3 positions is 400ths of a second. That is incredible stuff. Now what we're going to do, we've got 6 minutes left in qualifying. We'll go on board with one of the cars, see what it's like to go around this brilliant British circuit. And we'll wait for one of them to come up to the start-finish line before we go on board. So Ibrahim Khan coming around towards the S's now on the run down towards the final corner. In fact, we'll go on board with Danny Vidamari as well, going into the driver's view. Bit aggressive use of curbage there, and it gets very unsteady on the exit. But let's have a go around Donington International. Let's have a small insight to this brilliant circuit. So first corner coming out is Redgate. Very late braking. It's a late apex as well because you want to maximize the downhill speed, and this is where you need to be fully switched on as you go through Craner curves. Stay over to the right hand side and then cut back to the left. If you don't, then you're going to be mid-circuit, and that's going to really hurt your entry into the old hairpin. And Danny Vidamari gets a very sideways, brilliantly saved there by the Italian driver. Then it's up the hill past the old bridge that's obviously no longer there anymore, through McLean's, which is turn 7. Again, it's going to be another slight late apex. You can really throw the car into that corner, up towards the hill and Coppice. This is where things change slightly. Not a lot of grip available. Want to hug the inside as best you can. Looks like Danny Vidamari is backing out of this particular lap. He knows that he's already lost quite a bit of time in those first 2 sectors, so don't particularly blame him for that one. And he's going now. So, okay, we're going to get a flying lap now, so we know he's in business when you stop and get that open bit of track space. So let's see what it's like to go around at full whack here with Danny Vidamari. as mentioned before, into Redgate. Use the track over to the left, which he does. You can do that, and always he's really turning that car in. Oversteer suffering on the back end of that particular Formula 3. Hug over to the right-hand side. Wait for the throw back to the left, which is now. Watch out for those inside bollards. Through the old hairpin. Again, it's a low traction corner here. Oh, and he gets it wrong again. That's that turning point. Really can be quite tricky to get right. And you need to make sure that that throttle management is absolutely spot on in order to get the best time out of these cars. David Clarkseye is still our leading man. He's improved ever so slightly last time we looked. A 101.739 is the time to beat, and that's at just over a tenth of a second faster than Lucas Müller and Matthew Klipp. All these cars coming out for what will probably be the last attempt at pole position here. All the way down to P11, we are within 1 second of the leader. Only person not set a lap so far is the 15, which is Enjoy Motorsport with Tobias Thiel. That is Lucas Müller completing his outlap. Let's go on board for his flying. Or he actually gets a bit wide on the exit. That's going to compromise the entry speed down towards turn 1 already. So he's on the back foot as it is. Managing the throttle beautifully there. Through turn 1, no problem whatsoever. Now the run down towards the whole old hairpin. Oh, he's run a bit wide, and that's going to hurt his attempt going up the hill now, going past the bridge into McLean's. And he's backed out of it. I think he backed out of it slightly, and if that, he lost his footing on his pedals. Car seemed to drop in revs ever so slightly as he makes his way down towards the S's. This is Starkey's straight. I know he's going to go for a flying lap now, this time by then. 2 minutes still remaining. David Clarkseye still the man to beat for Fancy Esports. Bit of oversteer occurring inside on the entry to Redgate. Nicely managed those, kept it within the racing line. Didn't lose any time. Oh, a bit better turning this time. Of course, it's all about that throttle management. You need to get the braking done and dusted before the turning point, otherwise it will mess with the balance of the car. Same again for McLean's as well. Turn 7. Runs a bit wide, a bit of grass there, and it's nearly did a tank slapper. But it's that grass really does decide to drag these cars off. And he's decided to back out of this one as well, so he's running out of opportunities here. Of course, we know that Daniel Vidimari is the real threat to the championship for Lucas Müller. Matthew Klipp, in the meantime, has gone into second place with a 101.8. So he's improved on his personal best, and that's demoted Lucas Müller now onto the second row of this grid. Oh, and someone's had a massive crash at the bottom of the hill. I heard something go off. And that's going to be a problem for some of the guys come the race as well. Bottom of that hill, especially if they go into a racing situation. If they go too wide at all down there, then that's going to be very scary for them. In the meantime, Lucas Müller has a bit of an off-track moment. Decides to go for a small excursion. And Daniel Ersling is one of the next guys that's moved up the grid into 4th place. Daniel Ersling for F1 Bros Racing. Ibrahim Khan for Seawolf Netrace has gone down the order by 1. So he occupies the final of the top 5 positions. And that is it for qualifying, ladies and gents. We're now into overtime. David Koloksai still going round. This is going to be his third, if I'm not mistaken, pole position of the season. Very quick driver indeed. Had a few DNFs earlier on, which has put him down in the points. But if it wasn't for those, then he would be a contender here for victory. Of course, sitting in P4 with 72 points there. 101.6, that final hurrah before coming home. Now extending his advantage by 0.2 seconds. Well, that is your qualifying grid for you. David Koloksai takes pole position. Matthew Klipp in second for Royal Blue Racing. Second row is occupied by both the F1 Bros Racing cars, Lucas Miller and Daniel Ersling in that order. Ibrahim Khan for Seawolf Netros Motorsport round out the top 5, and then joining him on the third row of the grid is Turka Hakkinen for PMK Sim Racing. We've got Fabio Zabito for the 55 in P7, and Vale Esports in P8 as well. Rounding out the top 10, we've got Daniel Sontag and Daniel Vidamari for Team RSI. So we're going to have a 5-minute warm-up session as per usual, ladies and gents. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have some quick adverts and we'll bring the racing right back. So don't go anywhere. Final round of the Formula 3 British Championship. Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to Donington International for the final round of our Formula 3 British Championship here at CFEG. Just going to come into the end of our warm-up phase before heading on into the race, and as I say that, all the cars disappear and all the non-essential personnel have to leave the grid now, as of course I always forget. So thank you Rfactor2 for once again deafening and destroying my eardrums as usual. So we're just going to wait for the cars to finally go on to the grid before they have to start their manual warm-up lap, and then the standing start. So for those that are just joining us then, let's go through the order of things as they stand. It was a very closely and tightly packed qualifying session just a few moments ago. If you haven't seen that, then I highly recommend you rewind this live stream and take a little peek. But it was David Coloxai for Fantasy Esports that took pole position of the day by about 2/10 of a second from Matthew Clip. Royal Blue Racing came in at the last minute to steal that second place position. In third place we have our championship leader Lucas Müller for F1 Bros Racing, and then it is Daniel Ersling, his sister car, alongside on the second row. Running out the top 5 we have the Seawolf Netrace Motorsport car, Ibrahim Khan behind the wheel. And in P6 we have Turk Hakkinen for PMK Sim Racing. Then taking one of the stock skins for the series is the 55 with Fabio Saberto in P7. And then we have Vale Esports in P8 in the number 3. Royal Blue Racing and Daniel Sontag in P9. And then running out the top 10 we have Daniel Vidamari for Team RSI. As the teams begin to roll around the circuit and begin their warm-up laps. This is not the start of the race, ladies and gents. It is a manual warm-up lap. It's a chance for the teams to warm up their tyres, get ready for the task ahead, and of course get ready with their brake temperature as well. So it's going to be a lot of warming of tyres going on here, waiting to go and get this race underway. There's a lot of positions up for grabs here. For those that don't know the standings, F1 Bros Racing, Lucas Müller has to finish this race if he's to win the championship. He's got 113 points. The next competitive driver is Daniel Vidamari, although he is starting down the order in P10. Not the best of starts for his championship host, but he has 100 points available on the board, so plenty of opportunity to go forward if something terrible happens to Lucas Müller. Matthew Clip is on 94 points, so Royal Blue Racing. So if anything, Daniel Vidamari under threat from losing his second place finish and could be demoted to third if he cannot improve during the race. Fantasy Esports on 72 points, so though it's going to be difficult to move up the order, is still potential there. Daniel Ersling on 56 points in P5, and you've got Turk Hakkinen on 50 points. PMK Sim Racing, the 16 car, is on 47, and then you've got Joe Watts with 40 points as well. So there's a lot of movement able to take place. And just running out the rest of the order, it is PMK Sim Racing that occupy 11th place on the grid. Stefano Grazzi in the number 6 Vale Esports car, he's lining up P12. Joe Watts for JP Performance in P13. Got Tim Schaefer, who is one of the F1 Bros Racing teams, he lines up P14. Lucas Zinnemann in P15. Christopher Müller for the 47 Seawolf Netrace Motorsport, he lines up P16. And then rounding out the last few remaining, it's Christian Lewis for FC Racing, Team RSI with Alicia Folito, and then Etu Hakkinen for PMK Sim Racing, and at the back is Enjoy Motorsport, Tobias Thiel. So waiting for the cars to line up in their respective grid positions here, and we will soon get the racing underway for you. 25 minutes of Donington International, the final round of the Formula 3 Championship. You see in the background there Tobias Thiel lining up one final time. Here we go, ladies and gents, counting down. The green flag is on standby, and it's racing. David Klosser gets off to a pretty bad start. Matthew Clip, here he comes down the outside line. He's going to make a go for the lead, but he's going to have to go the long way around. He's on the outside line. In third, Lucas Müller. He's pretty much on his own, but on the outside is Ibrahim Khan, Daniel Ersling, Turk Hakkinen, as they all go down the hill towards the old hairpin. Oh, we've got a car wide there. That is, looks like Valtteri It is Valtteri. He's going on the grass, but rejoined safely. No cars contacted there. All seem to get through without any issues whatsoever. Back to the lead, though, because David Koloksai has been able to hold off Matthew Klipp and his offensive manoeuvre down the outside line, but he now has Lucas Müller hot on his heels as they come up towards turns 8, which is Coppice. Oh, and an issue for Lucas Müller. Our championship leader has spun out on the first lap after getting it wrong into turn 8. He's going to have to wait until the whole pack goes by before continuing. And he's gone back down into 19th place. Our first DNF of the race as well is Tobias Thiel, so not too sure what's happened to him. David Koloksai setting the fastest lap of the race. This could be disastrous for Lucas Müller and his championship hopes. In his current position, he will not score any points. The game is on, and he's got to move up the order very quickly indeed. Whereas Daniel Vidamari, though, because of course this is the man that's going to be able to take that away from him. He needs to score 13 or better. If Lucas Müller can't score any points, he needs to score 13 or better. And then he can take the championship title here for Team RSI. And of course the driving standings as well. Oh, this is spiced up really early on. 23 minutes still remaining in this very short race here at CFEG. 23 minutes still left. David Koloksai extending that gap now to 1.1 seconds. Matthew Klipp not able to put down that pace in this early stage, and that slipstream starting to fade away now. Continuing to extend that pace. Fastest lap 1:02.4 on the board for David Koloksai. Got battles going on in the midfield all the way down through the order as well. We've got Daniel Sontag under attack from Christian Lewis. He's trying to attack Stefano Grazi as well. Same with Daniel Vidamari as he is 0.7 seconds behind Fabio Zaberto, coming up for P6 in this race as well as he comes up towards Sector 2. Let's go on board the driver's view. Pretty much in a situation where a train exists as they all come down towards the S's. So everyone's getting that bit of slipstream which they need to gain the ground. Oh, Daniel Vidamari really closing up under the braking zone though. This could be his opportunity. David Koloksai still improving on that personal best. 1:02.145 is now the time to beat. Oh, we've got an overtake going on up ahead. That's Ibrahim Khan up against Turka Hakkinen. They both go too wide into Redgate. However, it is Ibrahim Khan that's hold on for P4 in class. Still too wide on the run down the hill. Who's going to have to give up the ghost before it gets to the old hairpin though? Oh, they almost touch as they come down towards through the old corners there. That was through Craner curves. And the second part, and now Turka Hakkinen had to back out of that bad opportunity. And here comes Fabio and Danielle as well. They smell blood in the water. They want a piece of the action. This is P5 up for grabs. Of course, Daniel Vidamari eager to get past, wants to deny as much as possible Lucas Müller from getting into the points. He himself now in P17 needs to get up another 2 positions in order to score any points whatsoever. Fabio looking down the inside. Oh, he seizes all 4 corners of the car and goes for a rough ride over the sleeping policeman, which are those red curbs on the inside of the S's. They can really damage the car, so you might have some suspension damage. Who knows? David Vidamari, though, now up into P6. As things stand, he will be in a position to take home the championship title if he can stay where he is. Of course, Lucas Müller, though, not going to let that happen while he's still alive and breathing, because he is still on a charge. Next car up ahead is Joe Watts. Let's have a look at the gap for you. 2.5 seconds before he can get in contact with the next available car. And then Christian Lewis as well for FC Racing. He's only 0.4 seconds ahead of this guy as well. So this is a three-way battle going on. And Alessio Filito leading this pack of 3. So this could be a lot of points available for Lucas Müller. He needs to get past all 3 of these cars. And then he may start to reel back those championship hopes he has been working towards all season. Oh, and there goes Alessio Filito. Another freebie for Lucas Müller as he comes through. Now up into P15. This is all good news for him. Let's have a look back at the front though. Matthew Klipp is on his own. Then we have Daniel Ersling, Ibrahim Khan and Turk Hakkinen. Gas between the two front running teams. Let's see where Danny Vidamari is. He's 1.1 second away from the rear bumper of Turk Hakkinen, all coming through the old hairpin. In the meantime, Lucas Müller, new fastest lap, 1:02.039 on the board. That is a new fastest lap. David Koloksai still leading the way by at least 2 seconds over Matthew Klipp from Royal Blue Racing. Always another car wide. That looks like Vale Esports. It is. So that's Massimiliano Riboli for Vale Esports. He's had troubles going down into P8 now. So let's have a look at the points board for you. So P6 will get Daniel Vidamari exactly 14 points. That's all he needs to take home the championship. But where is Lucas Müller now? He's P14. So at present, he will get 2 points for the championship. He will be victorious if he can stay where he is. Joe Watts, the next car up ahead for position, going too wide now. He's got the slipstream ahead from Lucas Zinnemann. Joe Watts going very sideways, the rear end letting loose, but manages to hold it through Redgate. Another position there for Lucas Müller. It's getting more and more the case that he will be able to come home victorious here, but Daniel Vidamari needs to go up the order if he's going to have any hopes of winning this championship. In the meantime though, Turk Hakkinen struggling to get away. He's actually made the gap, so 1.5 seconds now between the two of them, and this is not good news for Daniel Vidamari. He needs to move forward, not backwards. And the next car is going to be Fabio Zaberto. He's got at least another 2 seconds adrift. Let's go back to Lucas Müller, though, because he is attacking ferociously to make sure that his championship hopes are secure. He nearly goes into the back end of Lucas Zinnemann in the 24 Formula 3. Nearly makes contact as he went through the S's there, but luckily just managed to avoid. That could have been another disaster to what was already a really tough race for him. But this is going to be well earned if he can come home here this afternoon. On board with Lucas Zinnemann coming down through towards the old hairpin. Oh, and he's gone really wide onto the entry. This is going to really compromise the exit. Oh, and he's gone for it. Down the inside. Very ambitious move. Joe Watts really comes out the other end as the loser there. And Lucas Zinnemann counter-attacking on the entry to McLean's. He's done so. And he's lost it. Full 180, half spin around. Lucas Zinnemann loses out on that position. Here comes the rest of the grid. Joe Watts, the last of the pack. And it's all the way down to P17. He's decided to retire. That's a shame. Now, Lucas Müller has a bit of a task on his hands if he's going to catch up with the rest of the grid. But he's now sitting in 12th place. That is plenty in order to ensure that he's going to come home victorious here. So that will be 4 points added to his championship. Daniel Vidamari will be coming home with 14. And that is a really close gap between the two of them, of course, coming into this race with 113 points and 100 for Daniel Vidamari. You guys do the math. It's not too difficult to fathom, but it is extremely close. Now Ibrahim Khan is starting to apply pressure now to Daniel Ersling for third place. So we're talking podium positions now. Could this provide an opportunity for Daniel Vidamari to catch up? If they begin to fight, could this be a chance for them to catch up and do battle? Of course, this isn't the only battler in the standings either. We've got Matthew Klipp. He's currently sitting in second place. He himself has, I believe, 97 points on the board. So he's going to be coming home with 22 points himself. And And that could put Daniel Vidamari at risk if he does not do too well. Ibrahim Khan puffs of smoke coming up through the S's. And moving back, because this battle has widened just ever so slightly, we've got Fabio Zabetu against Massimiliano Riboli as well, coming down in towards Redgate, turn 1. This is Vale Esports. In the background there is at least half a second coming through the apex. We've also got the backpack starting to heat up as well. So if we go down towards Joe Watts, remember he had that spin earlier on. Alicia Filito starting to back off, 0.5 seconds. Oh, there's another puff of smoke as he goes through the apex of turn 1. Points still on offer here. Joe Watts claiming the last of them if he can get the job done. Here comes Alicia Filito though, on the offensive down towards the old hairpin. Well, there's a stationary car. That is Christian Lewis, so SV Racing suffering a bit of an issue there. Alicia Filito cuts down the inside, going too wide now as they go through McLean's. This is for the back of the pack, so racing is still fierce, even at this for this amount of points. And coming through Coppice, nicely held by Alicio on the outside. That means he can accelerate first towards the S's. Over the crest of the hill. Just looking in that side mirror. Able to hold him off, but here comes the slipstream. Is it going to be able to open a window here for Christian Lewis? Can he come back? We've also got Tim Schaefer in the background there for the 26. That is also the F1 Bros Racing driver. What a race we've got on our hands here, ladies and gents. David Colossi still leading the way for you. Matthew Klipp 2.8 seconds behind, but still hanging on. Daniel Erstling a further 2.5 seconds behind. Then you've got Ibrahim Khan and Turk Hakkinen. They're at least 1.5 each. Daniel Vidamari still in P6, but falling behind, now up to 4-second gap. Alicia Filito now feeling the pressure from behind. He can't follow Joe Watts into the distance. Here comes Christian Lewis round the outside. Twitchy moment there. Is he going to hold it? Yes, he does. Now behind and on board with Christian Lewis. P15 up for grabs here, going down the inside into Redgate. Last of the late breakers, he gets down the inside. Alicia Filito shutting the door there, and just by the skin of his teeth, Tim Schaefer gets on by without collecting the front bumper there of Christian. So amazing reaction to avoid that developing incident, but unfortunate end to what was turning out to be a really good battle. Now we've got Ibrahim Khan under attack from Turk Hakkinen. That gap's now come back down to 0.8 seconds. Slipstream in effect as they come down through Craner curves. We've also got a battle going on between Lucas Muller. I think we've just missed it, in fact. So Lucas Muller now in P10. Valtteri Karjalainen for PMK Sim Racing moving down into P11. So this is the championship starting to slip away from Daniel Vidamari. Points now in excess of... he's got 6 points on the board. So that means that it's going to be at least 5 gap before, for the win here. Next car ahead will be, in fact, is that Daniel Vidamari? Yeah, Daniel Vidamari's made a mistake. Daniel Vidamari down in P9. That is the championship decider right there. Lucas Muller in the background. As you can see, the two championship leaders here, both running into issues at Donington International. It is a very merciless circuit. And that could be the deciding factor, ladies and gents. 9 minutes to go. Over halfway through this sprint race that we've got here. I can't see Daniel Vidamari recovering to a point where he can reclaim 5th place again. Let's get back onto the action now. We've got Ibrahim Khan, Turk Hakkinen fighting for position. We've also got Daniel Ersling. He's being reeled in at the same time. It's 2 seconds spread across from P3 through to 5. And they are closing together. We'll keep an eye on the battle between Lucas Müller and David Amori. That's currently at 2.7 seconds. There's action going on left, right and centre. In the meantime, David Koloksai is starting to be caught by Matthew Klipp. This could be his first victory of the season in the final, which would be a huge moment for the Royal Blue Racing driver. We'll keep an eye on that as best we can as well. Right now, all the action is here for the 3rd place position, though, as he comes through turns 7. Oh, and a mistake there for Ibrahim Khan. Gets the rear end all wrong. That sent him into a sideways drift, but nicely caught there. But here comes Turk Hakkinen, too wide on the grass, past on the grass, coming out, ladies and gents. A bit of bumping going on. And Turk Hakkinen, oh, and it's a big moment there for Ibrahim Khan. Gets on the entry wrong, just couldn't get the car to turn in. Luckily able to continue. And now Turk Hakkinen up into P4. That was a huge moment there. Now down to turn 1, through Redgate, more contact made between the two drivers. One gets pushed onto the grass, that's Turk Hakkinen. He's lost control of that car. That was a bit of a dive bomb, too bad for Ibrahim Khan. That'll probably come under review at the end. Come on guys, let's clean this stuff up. Frustration's starting to run high, I think, as we come into, of course, everyone knows that the last final round is today. So all these positions mean everything to them, all their championship hopes, everything. Let's go towards Lucas Müller and David Amori, because that is starting to close up as well. Two championship leaders. Lucas Müller closing in. Every moment that passes, his championship is secured. Matthew Klipp has got the new fastest lap of the race. That battle for the lead is closing down. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's 0.9 seconds between our two leaders on the last crossing of the line. Got battles going down still for P14 in class. Is up top, in the middle and down the bottom. Fights left, right and centre for you. Lucas Müller though really now attacking David Amori as they come down towards turn 1 once more. Over the start finish line they go. He's going to make the move down the inside. Here we go, the championship leader against his main rival here as they go down towards the old hairpin through Craner Curve. Very critical moment. He's got a slight advantage on the run down towards turns 4. Oh, Lucas Müller gets a bit wide onto the grass. David Amori can breathe easy just for a few moments longer. Coming to the last final minutes in this race here. Lucas Müller running out of opportunities. This is more of a point to prove now. Is he the fastest guy on the grid? Moving down onto the inside line. Up towards the S's, the braking zone. David Amori still has that racing line. He knows that's the prime position to be in for the overtake. And now here comes the overdraft. Here comes that Lucas Müller down on the inside. He's got the attack position ready, lined up for the braking zone into Redgate. Brakes beautifully in line, able to open that door, secure it, and then moves up into position. P9 there for Lucas Müller. David Amori now behind. Let's go to the front of the pack down because we've got David Koloksai in amongst traffic. We've got the PMK car. That might be Tatuus Hakkinen, not too sure, can't confirm. But right behind is Matthew Klipp for Royal Blue Racing. He wants that first victory of the season. So far it's been a story of two people. That is, of course, Lucas Müller and David Koloksai. They're the only two people to actually win any of these races. Everyone else has just been finishing on the podium positions. Matthew Klipp can really sense an opportunity here to finally come home with something in gold. Mercedes still hold the fastest lap of the race. Last lap's for you, he was 2/10 quicker. So he will have the slipstream now from David Coloxai and Fancy Esports just up ahead, coming into the last final 5 minutes. 4 and 21 seconds left to be precise. Last lap times as they come across the line. David Coloxai now responding 0.2 seconds faster that particular lap. Let's see where Lucas Miller is. How's he doing in the grand scheme of things? He's now 7 seconds behind Vale Esports, so a lot of work to do, but I think that's a bit too much to ask from that Formula 3. So he may settle for P9, or P8, sorry, Daniel Vidamari in P9. Still within 1 second, so he still has that slipstream. So he could come back out to Lucas Muller, but of course it won't get him anywhere in the grand standings. But now Daniel Vidamari's main concern is, of course, Matthew Klipp. Matthew Klipp finishing in second or first place as things stands. 94 points on the board, whereas Daniel Vidamari down away in P9 will only score 8 points. So he could lose out on that second place finish in the standings. Coming into turn 1, running out of opportunities here. Last lap, 102, dead pretty much for Matthew Klipp. It was a 102.2 for David Coloxai, so that gap coming back down once more. Got to think about the dirty air that he's in as well, so he's running out of chances as those front tyres will begin to overheat sooner or later. He's been in this position for quite some time now, so you've got to wonder, has he got anything left in reserve? Is he waiting for his moment? Is he holding back anything? Because now will be the time to deploy it, to get up really close to the back bumper and make a move into either the S's or into Redgate itself. On board once again with Matthew Klipp. Got some traffic coming up ahead as well for a 25-minute race. That's quite outstanding. It's quite a small circuit here as well. That time's just over a minute. Beautiful view over the entirety of pretty much half of the Donington International Circuit here. Oh, it's a good old hairpin there for Matthew Klipp. Oh, he's had a bit of a moment. Had to take avoiding action around one of the PMK Sim racing cars. That would have raised his heartbeat just ever so slightly. Lucas Miller sets the fastest lap of the race now. Oh, SV Racing get punted by one of the PMK cars in the background there. Of course, we're going to stay with this. Just 1 minute left. It could be another 2 laps. Who knows? 1 minute 3 left. He can't afford to back off. David Coloxai, he's got to go full attack. It's going to be the final lap this time by. Just about by the skin of their teeth anyway. Lucas Miller now utilising the traffic. Always puffs of smoke coming from both cars. That's both from Ibrahim Khan and also David Coloxai as well. Both coming down the old hairpin. Blue flags will be out. And sorry, that's Christopher Muller in the car ahead. So that's the Seawolf Naturals car. He's ruining this great battle for the lead that we've got going on here. Blue flags, ladies and gents, get out of the way. Oh, blue flags, blue flags. Blue flags. So that's pretty much just ruined that entire race. So Christopher Miller, if you are watching this back, then you, sir, are a bit of an idiot. So that is a shame. That is a shame. Blue flags. Get out of the way. Yeah, Matthew Klipp weaving, just saying, you know, dude, please. But David Coloxai will come home victorious. He is the winner for Donington International Circuit. He comes home victorious. A really strong end to the season. Made up a lot of ground. In second place, Matthew Klipp comes home after a controversial final lap there. Maybe an opportunity presented itself, but who will ever know? It's one of those things that will always keep us awake at night. Daniel Ersling comes home P3, able to hold off Turk Hakkinen and Ibrahim Khan, so they come home in first, second and third place. Rounding out those top 5 positions, as I mentioned, Turk Hakkinen and Ibrahim Khan. Lucas Miller, though, our championship winner and leader for the series. He had a really strong start coming home at Brands Hatch, at Thruxton. He set the tone for the season, and he has done everything in his power to make sure that that stays the case. A bit of a small hiccup, which is unusual here at Donington International. Bit of a fright, a bit of a scare, but he came home with flying colours, coming home in the end in P7, recovering nicely to secure those 12 points that are needed to hold off Daniel Vidamari, who himself still coming home in P8 with a decent 10 points. He's going to struggle to hold on to that third place. He had an opportunity, didn't go as well as he had hoped, sounding his horn as he goes around the circuit. Not too sure if that's in frustration or just glad that this roller coaster is finally over. But what a championship this has been. Well, ladies and gents, that is it from us here. It's been a very quick round for the Donington Decider, however you want to call it. It was a bit of a hair-raising moment. We've had 3 DNFs, 17 cars made it home. Joe Watts, Lucas Zinnemann and Tobias Steele unlucky for today. I hope you have enjoyed watching us live for the final round. If you did, then please don't hesitate to give us a like for the live stream. And also subscribe. Don't forget to join us in exactly 7 days' time, where we will be going to Silverstone for the penultimate round, round 9 of the World Sports Car Challenge. You can join us then via the same link or go via our YouTube channel. But if you hit that like and subscribe, then you won't miss a thing. That's magic for you. Hope you did enjoy the Donington International race. It has been absolutely amazing for me to watch. It's been a privilege to see these guys go tooth and nail. And of course that moment, that scary moment for Lucas Miller, and watching him recover to secure his championship, that is what this is for. That's what makes great racing, ladies and gents. In the meantime, I hope you stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you and goodbye.